Hello everyone, this is CJ Novo992 and today we are back with another brand new video. Today's video is a bit special as well, ladies and gentlemen. You might just think, oh CJ, you're just clutching at content because international break's just finished. But nah. This is actually a very special video because this will be the last ever video I record not being able to breathe out this side of the nose. That's right, after a year of not being able to breathe properly, the NHS has finally came in clutch, and tomorrow morning at 9 AM, CJ's getting his nose fixed. How did it get broke?
Oh! Well done, CJ!
Did I say roll the clip? Honestly. Anyway, the reason I bring up this, ladies and gentlemen, is because over the next 7 to 10 days, it's going to look pretty bad on the channel. Even worse than the quality already is. We've went ahead and lowered it because I'm going to have 2 black eyes, a stick, and I'm going to be wearing a hat. So I'm just warning you in advance. It's somehow getting worse around here. So with that being said, if you are new around here, if you don't mind subscribing, that would be tremendous. But let's just dive into it, ladies and gentlemen, because we are back with episode 1 of the International Roundup. And first up, we are going to be talking about our home nation itself, Scotland, ladies and gentlemen, because we had one player called up to the national side by the name of Ryan frickin' Jack, which, by the way, let's be fair, is deserved. However, unfortunately, Ryan wasn't given an opportunity to show why he was selected, as he rode the bench during Scotland's collapse versus Russia, which finished 3-1, where their midfield was absolutely all over the place and they had no steel in that midfield. And a lot of us were questioning when watching that game of football why Ryan Jack wasn't necessarily getting on and just being that guy that can break up the play, because at 1-0 to Scotland, or even at 1-1, that's all that was needed, is just that one player just to break up play and just protect the back four. But we never made any changes, and there's a lot of questions about that. Well, it's because of a apparent knee injury to Ryan Jack's. He had slight swelling on his knee. That's coming from the Scotland manager. That's why he wasn't involved versus Russia, and that is why he came home early as well, because the swelling got worse instead of better. And Stevie Clark was pretty short and sweet when asked about Ryan Jack, saying that Rangers decided to go safety first. End quote. Now, it is unclear, by the way, if he will be fit enough to play at the weekend. That's still not confirmed. That will probably be in tomorrow's video when we break that down, when we get a bit more information about the squad. But as it stands, that was Ryan Jack's trip with Scotland. Didn't play and came home early. However, there is some good news regarding the Scottish national team, and it's obviously nothing to do with the first team, because that is just absolutely ridiculously bad. But the under-21s of Scotland again continues to shine, and 5 Rangers players were involved in that squad. Now, Stephen Kelly, who we spoke earlier on in the week, was involved. You had Robbie McCrory, Ross McCrory, you had Glenn, Middleton Hinks, and obviously Kieran Wright. Now, Scotland managed to win both qualifiers, with the Rangers boys being heavily involved, one winning 2-0 and then a very, very impressive win 2-1 versus Croatia. Now, Glenn Middleton notched another international goal with a very impressive finish versus San Marino, but the main talking point, and one of the biggest talking points, was just the pure moment of quality from Ross McCrory versus Croatia. When his country needed him the most, he stepped up with an absolute dream cross, hits it first time. It's a perfect delivery from the right hand side, and the big man's there to smash it into the back of the net, and that gave Scotland the 2-1 vital win versus Croatia. So shout out to the 5 Rangers boys that's pulled on the Scotland shirt over the weekend and done their nation proud. But before we move on to the next country, we do have one other update to give you guys, and it's for the Scotland under-19s. 3 other Bears were involved in that. Josh McPake, Dapo and Wright, all heavily involved in the fixtures. And it's also worth noting that Dapo grabbed another 2 goals for his country as well. So shout out to the young Bears, Dane Hings as well. Next up, we have the brothers over in Northern Ireland, and we're here to discuss the man, Stephen Davis. And before we go any further, a massive congratulations from me to he on becoming the most capped outfield player for Northern Ireland. That's an absolute frightening achievement, and it's a true testament to the man himself, not only being available, fit to be called up to be the national team, but he's never ever said, nah, I can't be bothered, nah, I've got the dentist, nah, I'm going to pull out the squad. Whenever his country has needed Stephen Davis, he has been there, and that's inspiring, if I'm honest. And Stephen Davis was involved in 2 matches over the international break. The first one was a substitute appearance and a 1-0 win. But the main one, the main talking point and the biggest match over the international break for his country was versus Germany. He started that match, obviously, and he put out a very good performance. Now, I know they lost 2-0, but that can't be on Stephen Davis' shoulders. You can't say, oh, he blew it or he was crap. He done what he always does, and that's be a controlling midfield player, bringing other people into play. This is Germany we're talking about, one of the best footballing countries in the world. So Stephen Davis, for me, left the international break on a high because he played well versus one of the best teams in the world. We're going to take a short commercial break right now as Rocky Boy Johnson is breaking the set. I mean, okay. Next up, we are turning our attention to Nigeria, and we are here to discuss the man himself, Joe Aribo. Now, I don't know how you feel just yet until I see the comment section, but for me, this was one of those feel-good moments of the international break because Joe Aribo, the last 2 games, kind of struggling, sort of had his first little sticky spell. Gerrard says it happens with every single young player, happened with Katic last year. Joe Aribo has now gone through that, but he's went away, he's made his international debut, and within 4 minutes, the man has smashed in a goal. That is absolutely tremendous, and I genuinely couldn't be happier for the guy. And if you're really, really quiet, like just turn everything down, you can actually just hear Lee Bowyer's fists just clenching. Like that. Oh, that's one of the worst shit. Didn't keep that in. But back to the guy that matters then, Joe Aribo. It wasn't the fact that he just scored in his international debut then disappeared. He had moments of real quality. Something that he's been shown, if you look at the majority of his time at Rangers, the ability just to glide by people, and he looks so relaxed but also just so concentrated because he can pick that pass, he can be the threat. But don't just take my word for it, ladies and gentlemen. Simply type in that guy's name and see the reaction from the Nigeria fans. It's been absolutely amazing to see so many people tweeting positively about a Rangers player. And it isn't just the fact they had a good game, they're saying that Joe Aribo is the successor to JJ Okocha in his first game. Now for me, I remember JJ Okocha as being one of the most exciting players that I have ever seen, if I'm being brutally honest with you, and I'd absolutely love if Joe Aribo can get anywhere near that level. But again, I'm not going to put too much pressure on the kid right away. He's made his international debut and he's made an impact, and that's all you can really do when you're given a chance to represent your country. So congratulations, Joe. Many more to come, I'm sure. And a Rangers player playing so well that the entire Twitterverse of their country is talking about him and giving him so much plaudits leads us perfectly to the next nation we're here to talk about, and that's Finland and the man himself, Glenn Kamara. Now, Glenn Kamara played in 2 games over the international break. The first one was a very, very impressive win versus Greece where he just sparkled. I mean, he was absolutely unbelievable and won the man of the match. The second game was a 2-1 loss versus Italy. Again, it's always going to be difficult to beat an Italian side, especially on the up. But Glenn Kamara was one of the most talked about players from that match. All these players that's worth this millions and this millions and this millions. And Twitter was talking about the guy that only cost 50 grand. How much? Now next up we have someone who costs slightly more than 50 grand, and that's none other than Bonabir Barisic, who at this point when I'm making today's video is the established left back for Croatia. I mean, that's just obvious. I don't think it's a surprise whenever he's announced now. He's picked in every single squad for the last 4 or 5 months and he's never really put a foot wrong. He's always one of the most consistent players for the national side, and I've said it a couple of times now whenever I've done these international recaps, is he always just looks a lot more confident when he's playing for Croatia than he's ever done at Rangers. If I'm being honest with you, that's how it seems. He just looks like a different player. Now, like Glenn Kamara, BB played in 2 matches over the international break. The first one was a massive, massive win, a 4-0 win versus Slovakia, and he was one of the best players on the park in that game. However, the Croatian national side and BB followed up with a very, very disappointing performance versus Azerbaijan, where they drew 1-1. And last but not least, we'll head over to Sweden now to discuss Filip Helander, who unfortunately was an unused substitute during a 1-1 draw in their qualifier. And if I'm honest with you, when I seen he was an unused substitute, it had me wondering if Katic had changed his nationality. Come on, it's a joke. Come on, stop it, you. If I'm being brutally honest with you, the most embarrassing part about that joke is I was really proud of it. Now, all joking and that aside, that's us reached the end of today's video on my part. Now, as always, I hand the reins over to you guys to dive into the comments and share your opinions on the Bears that was on international duty. And while you guys are doing that, I will jump over to Twitter and hear from the people. So I simply asked the people on Twitter, who impressed you on international duty? The first one comes up from Philip Ewan McGregor, and he writes in Ryan Jack, obviously playing a massive part for Scotland. Kenny Smith writes in Joe Aribo, purely because this has really pissed off Lee Bowyer and makes me happy. Callum Bruce writes in Joe Aribo. Molly writes Aribo and Barisic were class, to be honest. Stuart simply writes in Stephen Davis. Enough said. Dale Valentine writes in Barisic. Callum Kelly writes in McCrory. That's a fantastic shout, mate. That cross was beautiful. Honestly, if you haven't seen it, go into the Rangers youth account. You can see it there. It's absolutely scrum-dilly-umptious. Willie writes in Joe Aribo, guy was amazing. Big difference from the old firm. Hope he keeps that up. Sarah_03 writes in, Jack watching Scotland lose while laughing at Stevie Clark. And the last 2 or 3 we'll read out in tonight's video. The first one comes in from Jake Harley. He writes in, Joe and Glenn were excellent. Davis played well versus Germany, but they didn't win. And the last one comes in from Michael McDonald, and he writes in, Ryan Jack watching Stevie Clark's face conceding 6 goals while they have the best defensive midfielder in the country sitting there on the bench. The man has a point. There it is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You've heard from the people. You've heard from myself. If you haven't done so already, you know what to do by now. But before we go anywhere, I need to shout out to the absolute legends on the Patreon's account. If you would like to support the channel, the link for it, as always, is down there in the description below. And I've been CJ Novo 992. Thank you so much for watching, and bye.